So being one of the lucky diamond ticket holders, I got to spend my morning sitting in the massive super screen, which quite frankly is unbelievably huge, and it's actually the biggest in Europe, one of the biggest, because it's an IMAX screen, and we were treated to a Fox showcase. Now, quite honestly, having the directors, James Cameron, Ridley Scott, all those sort of people telling me how amazing Fox is, I came out and I did honestly want to work for Fox, and this happened a lot during the weekend with these amazing little adverts that they'd done for the film production houses. Just brilliant, and they'd really put a lot of effort into making Fox look obviously as impressive as they could. Obviously Planet of the Apes, well, Rise of the Planet of the Apes is already out, but we did get some fantastic and very insightful information that was obviously helmed by Andy Serkis. He's done a phenomenal thing with motion capture, you know, performance capture, and I'm really excited to see quite how his massive studio that he's developing does take off. It's not CGI, it's not, you know, it's not just done by computer, it is these amazing heartfelt emotions coming straight from the actors and portrayed straight onto our screens. And obviously they showed us some split screen stuff with Andy Serkis and Caesar, which I know a lot of you will have already seen, but just to see it in more detail, to see the battles on the bridge, how the massive ape jumps onto the helicopter, which you'll have all seen from the TV spots on the television, you know, from the trailer. It's just phenomenal, and they've achieved something absolutely amazing here, Rupert Wyatt and Andy Serkis, and I'm really looking forward to see it, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't yet, but that was really interesting. But a massive highlight was definitely, believe it or not, was Titanic, and I can't say I'm the biggest fan of that film, but what James Cameron has done is he spent the last year of his life and he has reworked Titanic. And obviously he's the one that created this amazing technology for Avatar, which, you know, that little film which none of us have heard of. But he's spent this year and he has gone back over everything, and the 3D, I can tell you, is absolutely exquisite. I was really taken aback, and it really did make me think back to Avatar, that amazing experience that I had in the cinema. And we got to see, you know, a few of the very pivotal scenes in clips, and I have to admit I got very teary, and the girl next to me, bless her, lovely Swedish girl Eleanor, she did start, you know, the tears did start falling, and even the guy next to me admitted he was starting to feel a bit, you know, and that's the thing. I think having the 3D on this film will make the impact so much bigger, and obviously, as James Cameron was saying, the idea now is that we will get this film given to a whole new generation that never saw it but that love Avatar. And I know that it's to celebrate, well, to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Titanic sinking. And some people do think that's a little bit bad, it's a little bit tactless. But James Cameron's done a wonderful thing, and even though it is being released in 2D as well, I really implore all of you, go and see it in 3D, because I think this is going to be a really wonderful event. After that, we had a Universal showcase, and one of my most anticipated films, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. And I'm sure many of you can admit to that as well. Gary Oldman, just an absolute hero, and obviously Tom Hardy, Mark Strong, Benedict Cumberbatch, Colin Firth, just all these people who are just going to be part of this incredible film. I know it's a remake, but I think the time is ready. Thomas Alfredson, who directed Let the Right One In, which is one of the best films of, you know, recent years, definitely. He's added just the most incredible feel to it, this Scandinavian feel. He said he wanted to make a film that looked like it was made in the 60s, and I think he's really achieved that from what we saw. So excited about this film, cannot tell you. The scenes I saw, I just think look great. I think if this is not a good film, I just will be shocked. The end of Friday was a really great experience for me. I went to a brilliant panel hosted by the guys who wrote the Inbetweeners. Now obviously there's a lot of people really excited about this film, and I completely understand why, and the panel was just fantastic. We got to hear a lot of stories that came from the TV show and how certain things had happened, like the beating up of the fish and the boat and all those sort of things, and it really was interesting. And yes, we did learn about friend, and it did actually come from one of his friends. So that was a very fun end to the evening, but the best part for me was after that. We had Empire's first secret screening, and I'm so pleased to say that it was Gavin O'Connor's Warrior. Tom Hardy in this film is absolutely unbelievable. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I've got my review just being written at the moment, which will be up on Hey You Guys as soon as possible, so have a look at that obviously when it comes up. But honestly, for me, it's the film of the year. Quite frankly, I just can't begin to explain how much I love that film. So keep your eyes out. It's coming out next month. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's about two brothers and their journey in MMA boxing, mixed martial arts. Nick Nolte is fantastic as well, so I'll keep quiet about it now, but read my review and keep your eyes out for Warrior. It is not to be missed. Saturday was a very different day. I wasn't in the massive Sky super screen with my diamond ticket. I was actually in the Indigo 2, with a diamond ticket, which was just a little bit further down. And I love that room. It's where they have a lot of gigs, a lot of things. Exhibit is playing there soon. Exciting. Chris Hewitt was introducing for us on Saturday, and he's so funny, and that was a really, really, really great morning. Now, we had our phones taken off of us, any recording equipment, so camcorders, phones, cameras, iPods. They even made me like take my iPod out, which obviously can't record, but absolutely anything. And it started with the E1 and Summit panel, and I'm guessing that's why. Obviously, Breaking Dawn, the new Twilight film, all these Twilight films are on basically lockdown, and if anything's found out about them, it's sacrilege, you know. Even though I've read the books and most people have and they know what happens, but no, we can't find out what's going on. What did look quite interesting though was we had an extended clip from the Three Musketeers, the Paul W.S. Anderson version with Mila Djokovic, Logan Lerman, Orlando Bloom, James Corden's in there too, Matthew McFadden. And it's one of those films where you think this is so bad it's going to be great. But actually the sword fighting did look quite fun, and the guy was telling us that actually, you know, they did all do their own stunts. All the sword fighting's them, and that made it a lot more interesting to watch. And I think this could be quite a funny little interpretation. But I've been really looking forward to the Warner Brothers panel, and it didn't disappoint. We had Guy Ritchie coming out to talk to us about Sherlock Holmes 2, Game of Shadows. He'd put us together some footage which hadn't been seen before, and I think this probably will be better than the first one. I enjoyed the first one, a lot more than it seems a lot of critics did, but I really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to this new one. It seems to have a lot more explosions. Noomi Rapace is in it, and you know, who's Lisbeth Salander in the Swedish versions of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, and she's got a massive career in front of her. We all know that. She's got Prometheus as well. So I think, yeah, Game of Shadows definitely will be better than the first one. Really looking forward to it. Now, we got to see an extended sequence for a film called Contagion by Steven Soderbergh, and it's got one of the best casts at the moment. It's got Kate Winslet, it's got Gwyneth Paltrow, Jude Law, it's also got Matt Damon. And it was a great little introduction to the film because it followed a lot of different people across the world and how they were spreading their germs on, basically. And we got the idea that Gwyneth's character was getting a bit ill. You know, she was starting to cough, and she was going to be passing things on to her family by the looks of things. But it went all through Asia, and it followed people on, you know, transport, on airplanes, on the tube, everything, and it made you feel a bit unclean afterwards. And when I got on the tube on the way home, I was a bit tenuous of what I was touching. But it does look really impressive, and I think this is going to be one of the really big films to look forward to. We also got to see Final Destination 5. We got to see the opening sequence, which was probably about 10 minutes long. Now, I've seen the second one and the third one, and, you know, on TV. Not really my kind of film, but I have to say the 3D here is just utilised to the best way it can be. It's disgusting, it's shocking, it's right in your face. This girl fell off a bridge. This doesn't give anything away, don't worry. This girl fell off a bridge, and the mast of a yacht, or a boat, went right through her, and that was literally right on my face. And it's very impressive. Apparently, you know, it's not doing too well, and it's not making too much money. But again, if you love that kind of film, definitely see it in 3D. It really is the right film to see it in, and it's definitely been utilised the best way, and I think it'll be an absolute laugh. As I said, if you like those kind of films. As well as that though, we got a Peter Jackson video blog for The Hobbit, which was just an absolute treat. Some of us had already seen it, but to see it on the big screen was wonderful. We got to see all about the dwarves, what makes them themselves, you know, different characters, how they learnt to make themselves stand out. But we got to see Gollum and Bilbo filming together as well. And Andy Serkis was saying how he felt it was a little bit hard to get back into that place because he felt like he was doing a caricature of a character that he once played. And I just can't believe that it would ever not have been Peter Jackson who would direct this. I mean, obviously Guillermo del Toro is a visionary genius, but this is Peter Jackson's project, and you can just see when he does these videos, you can just see how much he gets out of this, how much passion he has for these Tolkien films, and it's going to be wonderful. There's no other option. They're just going to be absolutely beautiful films. And there was absolutely no doubt about it. The best presentation of the day belongs to Aardman, and probably the best presentation of the weekend. We had a film called Arthur Christmas, which It's just beautiful. Honestly, it is the cutest little thing. And it's all the different generations of the Christmas family. It goes, you know, you've got Bill Nye at the top as the old grumpy Father Christmas. You've also got Hugh Laurie as a very sort of buff soldier idea, you know, who's always on the ball and always telling everyone what to do, like a very kind of colonel / general way. And then you've got James McAvoy, who plays Arthur Christmas, the unassuming heir to the Christmas fortune, as it were. Basically, the guy was telling us how Peter Baynham, who's honestly hilarious, how does Father Christmas do it? Honestly, he's got this massive world, not enough time. If it's just him, how does it work? And it's the elves. It's a well-oiled process, obviously been going on for many, many years, and it's hilarious. I don't want to spoil too much because I think the less you know about this, the better, because I was in fits of laughter, and I think it's going to be one of the biggest hits this year. So Arthur Christmas, wait for that one. And then equally as hilarious, but not quite as original, was Pirates, an adventure with scientists, which is very funny. The main pirate is played by Hugh Grant, and you've got Jeremy Piven in there, who's absolutely fantastic. You've got Imelda Staunton, you've got all these fantastic characters, and it's the Wallace and Gromit faces that we're used to. The scenes that we saw weren't particularly finished because obviously where they're having to do the stop motion with the characters, they've still got like lines on their faces and different things that will have to be filled in, but the voices are just perfect. It looks hilarious. We got a little trailer as well, which they're singing along to in like a What Should We Do, the Drunken Sailor, which is hilarious. And when the crowd found out Brian Blessed was in it, the roar of approval that got just showed how funny this is going to be. So Aardman did a fantastic job. That was a brilliant presentation. So Arthur Christmas and Pirates, an adventure with scientists. The scientist is Charles Darwin, who they capture, played by David Tennant. Look out for those two. They're going to be two massive, massive films, and rightly so. Now, the best part of the Sony showcase was The Amazing Spider-Man. This was an absolute treat. We got a brilliant little intro from Mark Webb, from Emma Stone, and from the wonderful Andrew Garfield, which was probably filmed at Comic-Con. And they told us obviously they were sorry they couldn't be there, and they hope we enjoy the footage. And the fact is, obviously Mark Webb is director of 500 Days of Summer, which is known for having, you know, brilliant characters they're very invested in. And you can really, really see that what he has done with Spider-Man is he has given us characters that have a lot more depth. Even though Andrew Garfield is obviously nearing 30, he does just about get away with it. I mean, if he doesn't get away with it in looks, being a high school student, the way he acts is absolutely phenomenal. He's just an absolute wonder to watch, and he's become this school child. I mean, he's obviously, he's tall, but he's become this teenager with his skateboard. He's become this awkward kid around Gwen Stacy, and it's an absolute pleasure to watch. And I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to say, I think this film could very well be a lot better than the first Spider-Man. I love the second one, but forget that, let's talk about the first one with Tobey Maguire. I think this really could beat it. We saw some great action sequences. I'd already seen the trailer, but to see it in 3D was amazing, because that bit at the end where you see him crawling around, you see it from his perspective when he does the swings and he jumps, and you know, you get to look down on the city streets, and it gives you a bit of a tummy jumping moment. But I really think this is something really special, and we got to see a look at Rhys Ifans as the Lizard as well, and he's looking pretty fierce. He's looking pretty slick. I'm very interested to see how his Kirk Connors comes across. I mean, a lot of the footage wasn't actually completely finished, because when he was talking to the students in the laboratory, he said like a green sleeve on his arm, which obviously will be a bit more scaly and everything, you know, when post-production's been finished. But we got a great look at this film. We got some fantastic comic ability from Garfield when he's web-slinging some of the things he says, which are funnier than Tobey Maguire's ones. I don't want to give it away, but I think a lot of people were really questioning this, and rightly so. Obviously, Spider-Man had only just finished. We thought Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire were coming back for a fourth one, but then Marvel decided to reboot the whole thing, and I know I've said it, I know I say this a lot, but I think this is going to be something really, really special. Andrew Garfield's one of the best actors around, and he hasn't put a foot wrong, so I'm really hoping for him he's not tied into a franchise that goes steadily downhill after it's been passed on to director, but this is looking exciting, guys, so, you know, keep your fingers crossed. This is going to be good, I promise you.